Concetta Bertoldi. Obviously that was just said. But I always say that in the beginning of what I work because I want the other side to know I'm present and accounted for. So I don't know really much about what most of you have experienced or what you're even here for. So I will just tell you that I would like to answer some questions, and then maybe I can go from there by telling you something about myself. If you have the any questions for me, I can answer about my ability, what it's like to live with this, or welcome to my world kind of a thing, and then maybe share some experiences with you because I have heard dead people all my life since I was a child. I don't remember ever not hearing them. I was born with what they call a deformed ear, which simply means I have no hole in this ear, and it has no hearing, no ear canal, and I have very limited hearing in this ear. So they told me when I was 22 years old, I was tested at the Edgar Cayce Institute in Virginia. And that's where they, I want to say, classified me. And it was a long time ago, but anyway, it was the first time somebody outside my family was able to talk to me about what happens to me. And it was a very rewarding experience to realize that I wasn't alone, that I wasn't crazy, and that there were other people that were interested in what happens when I hear these dead folks. I didn't go public up until maybe about 17 years ago, and the reason I did go public 17 years ago was because I lost my brother. And it wasn't until I lost somebody that I love very much that I understood the great importance of knowing these messages. My father's father had the same ability. My mother had no experience in this whatsoever. In fact, she was very frightened of it. When they got married, my grandfather, who had the same ability as I, my father's dad, he told my father that I was going to hear them. My father was reluctant to tell my mother that because my mother was this sweet little Irish lady that was raised in a horrific background from the time of 3. She was in an orphanage where she was severely treated by nuns, and she was afraid of anything that was different. So my father wasn't about to tell her, oh, by the way, Pop said she's going to hear dead people, because it wouldn't have went over well. But my mother, when she used to talk about it, used to say that early on, when I was little, she knew there was something going on, and she could tell the difference. And then there were things that happened that just made her have to acknowledge what was happening. One of her memories earliest, I was 5 years old, and I'd come in the house, and I told her my uncle's leg was gone, which was my mother's brother, and that it was all bloody. And my mother said, what a horrible thing for a little girl to say. You go back outside and play. And at that time, the phone rang, and it was my mother's sister-in-law telling her that my uncle had just been in a motorcycle accident, and his leg was very badly damaged, and they wanted permission to amputate it. So you can imagine my mother's expression when she realized what just happened. But anyway, my mother and father were married 50 years, and my father was her great source of strength, and mine as well. And he told her, don't worry, this is not a bad thing. They're not going to hurt her, and she's going to be protected by them. And we'll show her how to protect herself with them, meaning the dead. And my mother said, in those days, she was just so frightened that she just said, I agreed with Daddy because I figured anything had to be better than what I was taught. Because what she was taught in a Catholic orphanage was horrific. So, and I'm not here to knock the Catholic organization. I'm just stating the facts. But here's what happened. My father was a different religion. My father took my mother under his wing and basically showed her a whole new way of living without fear because of the way she was taught to live with fear. And she later told me that I decided to just go along with whatever Daddy said. And as a little girl, I remember my father's expression whenever I would say, somebody was there talking to me who was dead. And I remember his approving face, his sweet smile, and him saying, oh, that's nice, where are they? And making like he heard them too. And I remember my mother just nodding her head, like, okay. But it took her a long time to get comfortable. But she eventually did get very comfortable. And when she needed it most was when my brother died. And that was when he was 38 years old. He died of AIDS. And he was just a sweet man, a sweet young man. And obviously, all of you can understand when you lose a child, or lose anyone you love, the devastation and the toll it takes on your family. So my mother, at that time, really needed me and what I knew and what I heard, what I experienced, and what I assured her. And we grew closer at that time of our life too. My father and I were two peas in a pod, but my mother at that time and I became much closer because of that, and for the rest of her life. So, at that time, my brother, Harold, his name was Harold, he said to me, "We need your help." He was dead. He came to me from the other side. He said, "Please deliver these messages. Please tell people these things we're trying to show them and say." I never thought that I would ever go public with this, ever. I mean, you have to understand, it's 2017 now. There are many books out there. There are many television shows out there. That's all making it very acceptable. But for me, I'm 63 years old. Okay, I know I look great, it's okay. But the fact is, when I was a young girl, not that I could compare it to Salem, but it certainly wasn't acceptable, and it wasn't something people spoke about, and it wasn't something that was easily accepted. So of that generation, I had a difficult time. But I was very fortunate because I was able to invest in people that I knew I could trust. So most of the people that are in my life for a long time, because I've always been able to choose wisely because of their help. So I have friends of 50 years. I have, long-term relationships because I've always been able to tell when I should stay away from somebody. And here's the point. When my brother told me, "We need your help," I reluctantly, because I used to be in the mainstream. You have to understand, I'm not educated. I don't have a college degree, and I'm severely learning disabled. I have a severe case of dyslexia, and for those of you who don't think that's a big deal, just living with it for one day, and then add to the equation 63 and menopause. It sucks. So I am not good when it comes to learning things from a book, or otherwise numbers, forget it. But the point is, I always thought I was stupid on top of that because there was nobody when I was a young girl to test for dyslexia. Today, the kids have all this testing, and they can help, and they can guide, they can correct, they can do a lot. But when I was young, they didn't even know there was dyslexia. So I just thought, I'm done. And when somebody said to me, "You're not even trying, do it again, try again," I would try again, I would do it again, and it still wouldn't come out right, so you walk away just feeling stupid. That's very unfortunate. But to my help, and what I was very, very fortunate to have were these dead folks. And they helped me, along with my father and mother, to build up my confidence. And I relied on my personality to get me through. And I thought I was fooling everybody, that I wasn't stupid, because I had this outgoing personality. I just want to let you know now that I don't think I'm stupid. I think I'm intelligent. And I feel very proud of what I've accomplished with the little bit of education that I've had. But I also give credit where credit is due. And that is the help of the dead. Because my brother said to me, "We'll help you, but you must agree. You must say yes." And I didn't say yes. And it's a long story. I'm in the process of writing an autobiography. There's a whole lot from start to this period of time I'm talking about. But anyway, the point is, when I finally said yes to my brother, it was reluctantly, but I figured, what could happen? Where am I going? I hear dead people, so what? And who's going to care? And where am I going to go with it? Because I had no idea. But it was nothing short of a miracle. Once I said, yes, all right, I'll help you, my life went from this to that. I always worked in the mainstream. I was never a lazy person. I worked all my life. I've always earned my own money, whether it was, $10 an hour or whatever it is, and I was always proud to do it. So I worked in the mainstream as a receptionist, because the one thing I knew how to do was say, "Hi." I do that very well. So at a reception desk, I really shined. And I was always the lowest person on the totem pole. I was always the person that they overlook when people go into a building or a business, because they look at that person with kind of like disrespect, in my opinion. And I think it's unfortunate, but I gave it all I had. So when I tell you I was the best damn receptionist you ever met, and I worked at companies for 15 years and 10 years, I was always long-term, and proud to do it. So when I decided to go public with this, my husband told me, well, or those folks who would ask, she used to take calls from the second floor, now she takes calls from the top floor. And when I went public and I wrote my first book, my dead folks helped me to write a book. Now, I can tell you again, I'm not educated, so how I wrote my books, and they're all written by me. There are no ghostwriters, if you'll excuse the pun. And I sat down with a cassette tape, and I have a cassette player, and I would record. Because when I started going public, everything changed, as I said, but people were filled with questions about this subject matter. Everybody has something that they want to know. Are we punished? Where do we go? Do they forgive us? If we commit suicide, do we go to heaven? There's a million, there's so many questions people have, right down to, do they see us naked in the shower? People are really worried about this stuff, and it made me very entertained. But the point is, I started to collect questions from my audiences when I would do events. We would leave a paper on the chair and say, if you had a question you wanted an answer, what would you ask? And there became so many. And it got to the point where I started to meet people, and I'm not name dropping, but I met a lot of celebrities, and it was amazing to me to meet them, because I go to find out now, at this stage of my life, we're all the same. We're not different.
Right.
They may have more money than us, and they may live in better houses, and they have more handlers and people to do their laundry. But the fact is, they're exactly the same as us. And some of them are even bigger pickles than we are. But the point is, that's when I decided to write this book. And the first book is called Do Dead People Watch You Shower? It's question, answer, question, answer. And that's what I did. I put the tape recorder on with a cassette, asked the question, and then gave the answer. Asked the question, gave the answer. So the person who took those tapes just transcribed them. Didn't change anything. Just wrote down the question and gave my answer. So every word in those books are said by me. There is nobody else. And the only thing I can tell you is that I have got a wicked sense of humor and known to swear. I'm just being honest, so if you find that out, you heard it from me. And I think that's because I'm from Jersey. But the point is, I'm a real person who has real faults and real flaws. And I've made mistakes, and I'm not without sins. But I can tell you this. I have never killed anybody and buried them in my backyard. So, to me, that puts me ahead of the game. But the good news is, I really believe I'm a good person, and I would really do, and I hope that I'll always do what my parents taught me, which is to do the right thing, and to love people despite our differences, and to try to always make a difference if I can, where I can, in a positive way. So, there you go. I wrote this first book. And with like a miracle, the other side, as I said, folks, are involved, it became a New York Times bestseller. I could have been bowled over with a feather when my agent called me up. And how that all happened too is also nothing short of a miracle. I mean, I'm being honest, I met Alec Baldwin and he had said to me, you really should write a book. And I remember saying to him, I can write a little note and a card to somebody when they send me something or give me something, but I don't know how to write 200 pages. And he said, no, you've really got to do this. And he said, I think I'm going to help you. So I have to give him some real acknowledgement because he introduced me to, because it's not easy, and it was not easy then, but it's even harder now, to get an agent. He introduced me to some people, but they had to accept me. And one of the person who I met, who became my, and is my agent, literary agent, said, oh, I think we can do this. And it was just like a snowball. And then all of a sudden I'm at meetings. And here I am at these like unbelievable publishing houses, sitting there, this little girl from Jersey, barely graduated from high school with a C- average, and I'm talking to these big shots, you know what I mean? And I'm looking at them, and the only one I really was interested in was the receptions. Because everybody would walk in that was going to take the meeting, and they'd walk right by that desk. And they'd barely even look at her and just tell her who they're there to see. Wouldn't treat her with any kind of respect. Would act like she was just nobody. So every time I'd go on one of those meetings, I'd walk away from the crowd of folks that I was being chaperoned by, and I'd walk up to that girl or guy, but it was usually a woman, and I would say, honey, do you want to go to the bathroom? I'll sit there for you, no problem. You just go pee, I'll sit right here, we're good. You want to get a cup of coffee? Go get it. I'm going to stay right here. I will here and help you. What's your name? How are you? How's your family? And I can still, to this day, remember how many encounters I had like that person would look at me almost like, what's coming from this? They probably thought either A, I was gay and wanted a date, or they thought she's a little cuckoo. But the truth was, I knew exactly how she felt. And I never want anybody to ever be discounted, not there or anywhere. So, long story short, HarperCollins bought my book. And within a short time after it was published, when I tell you short time, like 3 weeks, it was on a New York Times bestselling list. And for those of you who think that's an easy feat, I can tell you it's nothing short of a miracle. I mean, I'm not Diana of Windsor. I'm Concetta Bertoldi, little Jersey girl. So I really didn't think that could ever happen to me. But why it happened and how it happened, I say to you again, I give all the credit to my brother Harold and all those dead folks on the other side who said, we're behind you, honey, we're going to help you. And that's how I think it happened. And I'll never, ever not think anything else but that. And I'm so eternally grateful and proud, because I cannot believe that it's in 13 languages. And I cannot tell you how many letters I get from people around the world. And I write back to every single person. And they tell me their stories. And it's made me a better person? No, a very much better person. Because I've learned things about places in our world that are just mind-blowing. Absolutely mind-blowing. I mean, I have letters and I correspond with people from South Africa, from unbelievable Denmark, Switzerland, all over. And I love listening to their stories, and they tell me. And they tell me about not only their lives, the people they've lost, and the things they've experienced from the dead folks that they've had around them, but they also tell me about what's going on in their mark of the woods. And they tell me about the streets, and the towns, and the hospitals, and the food shortages, or the good things. I mean, it's not all bad. But I'm always like sitting here going, oh my God, that's what's going on out there. You only see it in books or see it in movies. And the only thing I can tell you is, and I said this to my daughter this morning in our hotel room, I would again choose to be born who I am, where I am, and have exactly the same life I've had. I would do it all over again. To have been born in the best country in the world, and to have been born to the parents I was born to, look the way I look. I have absolutely no complaints. And that's not saying that I think I'm some hot tamale, although I'm not unhappy because I feel pretty good. But I believe that's all because my self-confidence comes from eternal knowledge, eternal peace, eternal of who I am. And nobody in this room can deny that they have that too, unless they choose to. And I will never choose to. So when I tell people, if Marilyn Monroe had lived to be 63, this is exactly what she would have looked like. That's all your frame of mind. It's all your frame of mind. I meet people, and I meet men and women, and my heart breaks when I see folks, especially young folks, who really don't see the beauty within themselves. They don't acknowledge what they have. They don't choose to say, I'm beautiful, damn it. I'm really good. Because if you don't say that, no one's going to say it for you, and no one's going to believe it. And I'm not saying I'm a brat, because I'm not. I told you, I have plenty of faults, plenty of things I could tell you I've done that I wish I could take back, and said I wish I did not say, because I'm only human. I'm just human. But I do say I'm sorry, and I do say I wish I could tell you again how hard, I've worked to say I wish I could go back in time and take it back and not do it again. But then I move on, ladies and gentlemen. You gotta move on. You can't live with that. You can't live with that guilt. And you can't live with your pain, because that's a negative. And the other side doesn't want you to do that. God doesn't want you to do that. And by the way, I'm not some big religious fanatic. Just so you know, I'm a very spiritual woman who believes God is real. I know God is real. So I encourage all of you to do one thing for yourselves, and to tell it to your children and grandchildren. See yourself. Look in the mirror and see yourself through God's eyes. Because if you can see yourself through God's eyes, you will see how beautiful you are. You will see how perfect and God created you. And that you can be and do anything you want. It's a choice. It's your choice. And once you believe it, mountains will move. Angels will sing. But it's true, I'm living proof. And I've seen it in my work, I've seen it in my life, I've seen it so often that it blows me away, never ceases to amaze me. So I love to share that information. Because if it can only help one person, it'll be good. And if it helps more, perfect. But I don't want to have been the only one who cornered the market on this kind of logic and understanding, because it wouldn't be fair. You need to know. And you also need to know your dead relatives are not dead. They are someplace. They're in the air you breathe. That's how close they are, ladies and gentlemen. Air is spelled A-I-R. And what does that stand for? Always in reach. They are always in your reach. And they're rooting for you. And they're loving you. And they're perfect. And they're happy. And they're loved. And they're healthy. They had no mortgage payments. They had nobody on that side that's arguing with them. It's all good. We are in a tough spot. We're in a tough condition. Lord knows. This human body has a lot that comes with it. We all know that. You know, it's just a Tupperware container as far as I'm concerned. But the fact is, it has all kinds of things that constantly have to be done to it and go with it and corrected in it and fixed and all this stuff. So it's hard. It's really hard to live in this condition. But if you have this in this and this and this in this, piece of cake, you can do it. Yeah, you might get weak here and there. You might have a day that doesn't go well, and you have a right to complain. I'm not going to say you have to be perfect 24/7, but it'll get easier to bounce back, to keep on going, power through, get up, do it again. Once you get these things working, boop, 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 you're good. And I know that because I've lived my life that way. And it's been far from perfect, but it's been good. Sometimes I pinch myself because I'm sitting back saying, wow, I've really been lucky. And it's not that I am like, you know, Angelina Jolie, or I'm not some big famous person, or I have so much and that's why it's all good. No, that's not why. It's because I've chosen to say, I believe the glass is half full. How easy is that? And I believe that it's going to get better, and I'm not going to sweat that, and I'm going to move on. And you can do that too. It's a choice. Everything's a choice. And I tell people in my work, when I work with people who've lost dead, you know, who have dead people, and we all do, remember you have two roads always when somebody dies. When somebody dies, there's two roads you can choose. And I've met people from around the world, and it never ceases to amaze me how it's always the same. My family is Irish, Italian, Chinese, Jewish, we got it all. And I'm proud of every one of it. We were taught to celebrate every holiday. I don't care what holiday it is, we embrace it, we celebrate it. And we have kids that are everything. And we teach our children in our family to be proud of every half they are. You're not just one half, you're everything. Because that's what I believe. Because I think that saying you're only one half is horrible. That's like discounting the other half, like that doesn't even exist and it's just not worthy of your acknowledgement. Sorry, my opinion. Fact is, none of the kids in our family will be taught that. They will be taught they are everything and to be proud of it. Oh, and by the way, we have a sense of humor. My brother called me my father, all of my life, we've always known that we had Jewish ancestors. Now, I hope you have a sense of humor with what I'm about to say. Because if you don't, we're going to have a problem, but I'll throw it out there. So my brother called me up and he said to me, well, Pop was right. I said, what? He said, I did the ancestral thing. I said, oh, really? He goes, yeah. I said, how'd it come back? He goes, well, it's really funny. And I go, what made you do it? He said, well, you know, it was $100. It came down to $75. I figured out how to do it. I said, okay, so what happened? He goes, well, he said, we're this much Irish, this much Sicilian, we're this much one little thing is, and the rest is all Jewish. I said, well, Daddy always said we knew that. And I said, but that explains why you waited for it to come down to $75. Oh, and by the way, Bob, I said, you know that little ball split going on? Yarmulke. You're good, babe. And I'm very proud of that, by the way. My father was right, and I believe in past lives, and I really believe that in a past life I was 100% Jewish, because I have such a tremendous affection for the Jewish community, religion, and everything about their history. And I love history, but that one is just particularly, for me, too close to home. I know that I lived, I know that I died in that. So I've made it a point. I've gone to almost everything I can get my hands on and go to. I've gone to Anne Frank Museum, I've gone to Dachau, I've gone to Germany. I mean, I want to go, I want to feel that, because I know there's something there that connects me to it. And all of you have that. All of you have something that you're attracted to, and you can't put your finger on why. It might be just a style of clothing from the 1800s to the Civil War. You never know. You could have been there. Who knows? But it's fun to think about, isn't it? Because it just reminds you how this isn't all there is. And this isn't all there is. We've all been here before. And we've known most of the people we are in life with, again. We've been brought back in these groups because we're here to learn something from each other. We've been brought back to work out differences we might have had the last time. And I wish somebody would tell my mother-in-law that. But anyway, here's the bottom line. The fact is, there's something bigger than all of us going on here. Bigger than all of us can imagine, folks. We have an everyday thing that gets our struggles going. Gotta go get the dry cleaning, gotta pick up the milk, our responsibilities, gotta go to work, holidays coming up, who's coming over, whatever. Fact is, we don't spend a whole lot of time sitting down thinking, what other possibilities are there that are in this, in the core of this, and in this? There's something bigger. There's something more. And that's where my faith in God comes in, because God's got those answers. But the beautiful thing about it is, when we die, we get those answers. I refer to it in my books as a knowing, because when we die, we walk into the light, and all things are made known to us. We get a knowing. So we understand. We really do understand why. What happened to us. Why we were in this position. Then we get to see, while we're transitioning to that side, what difference we made. What we contributed in a positive and a negative. We get to see it firsthand. It's like flashing on us all the time. It's amazing, they tell me. And it makes so much sense, doesn't it? But this is the real beauty of it. We don't have to worry about being beat up for it or go to Facebook jail for it. We are met with unconditional love. We are met with an unbelievable, kind understanding of the fact that we were human, and that was our experience, and there's a reason for it, so let go of your guilt. You know how many times I meet people in my work and they say, I'm so worried my mother's mad at me. Oh, I know I shouldn't have done that, and I feel so bad about that. And we carry these things around like a backpack. It's so hard, and it's so tiring, and it's exhausting. Let me tell you why we look for unconditional love. All of us here in this room, all of us here on this earth, in human form, we're looking for something. We're all looking for the same thing. We're looking for unconditional love. Will they love me if they find out I lied to them? Will they love me if I find out I took their shampoo and I didn't tell them I took it? Will they love me if they find out that I'm really going to have that party but I didn't invite them? All the things we worry about. I'm thinking of silly stuff. But imagine if we all sat back and said, are they going to still love me if I'm not perfect? Are they going to still love me no matter what I do? Really? And we walk around testing the people we love all the time. And we want to make sure. So we're just constantly checking in to make sure. Do you still love me? Are you sure? Because we're just always waiting for the bottom to drop out. We're always waiting for us to wake up and then somebody look at us and say, nah, you know, I don't think I love you anymore. It was good, but not anymore. Sorry, I don't love you anymore. We're waiting for that pretty much. Very few of us can say how many of us we really have in our lives that really believe love us. And that's because we're all looking for unconditional love. Now, why are we looking for unconditional love? Very easy. That's where we came from. We came from a place before we were here in human form, and it was a place that offered, had, and lovingly gave unconditional love. So we remember how good that felt. We remember in the core of our souls, we remember, wow, something about that unconditional love, there's something about that. Yeah, something about that, because it feels so damn good, right? It feels wonderful to think that somebody really loves you unconditionally, no matter what you do. Because on the other side of the veil, that's what we walk into, that's where we came from, that's what we're given, and that's the truth. So before you beat yourself up, worrying about anybody being mad at you on that side, and before you beat yourself up about all the things you wish you could have done differently, or had not sinned, or had not done this, please go easier on yourself. Be a little bit less hard on yourself. And try to realize it's okay. It's not so bad. Because if I had to share stories with you with what I did, and you told me what you think you did that was so terrible, they're going to be pretty much even. Because we're basically good people. You know what I mean? We're good people. My problem is, and this is my personal problem, because I have a problem with the other side for what they tell me happens with people who do bad things. And I shouldn't even bring this up, but this is where I'm human, and I want you to see how human I am. When somebody does horrible things to other human beings, when somebody commits acts of total evil, I don't want them here anymore. I'm the person that if somebody said to me, oh really, Concetta, could you really just like pull the switch, or could you, I say this, I haven't been given the switch, but I say, yeah, I think I could. Because I don't want them here, I don't want them hurting anybody. Nobody deserves that. And whoever does stuff like that, I don't like. And I know that's negative and I'm not supposed to feel that way, but I'm human. There you go. Along with my swearing. But I would like to now ask you all, if anybody has any questions, because maybe you might, after everything I've said, have a question. So, yes, sir.
Well, I have two questions.
Yes.
The first one is that when the soul inhabits the body, how much of an influence of the soul is on the body? Because if the soul leaves the body is lifeless, obviously. So how much of the soul controls the body? And the other question is, then when we go to the other side.
What I said was, when the soul inhabits the body, what percentage of the soul is influencing the body? Because obviously the soul leaves...
While you're here on Earth, sir? Is that what you mean?
Yeah.
While we're here on Earth, your question is, how much does the soul influence the body while we're here?
Yeah.
Well, let me just say to you, the soul inside you is always influencing the body. Because it has a direct, you're connected to it. So if you do things that are negative, it's going to have a direct effect on your body. If you do things that are positive, it's going to have a direct effect on your body. The soul is in your body now, so it's connected to the body, and it's all working on one system, I think. And you want to know, the second half of that question was, what happens what?
In other words, when you're on the other side
Yes.
of home, are you still on Earth, or is
No,
Earth
yes,
a
you are,
different
okay.
time?
Well, once we die, we leave this, that's why they call it the remains. This is the remains, they don't care about it anymore, it served its purpose, moving on. The soul moves on to the light. We call it the light, the other side of the veil, there's so many things. But the fact is, when we leave this body, the energy inside it becomes one with God. That's what happens. The soul, that is your soul, my soul, once we leave here, we become one with the Spirit of God. Because God is in all places at all times. And this is the part that's difficult, because we are then capable of being in all places at all times. And that's hard to understand, because We now in human form think to ourselves, how can I be here and yet on Michigan Avenue at the same time? But the truth be told, God can do that. God's right here and on Michigan Avenue. So when your energy leaves that, remains, it becomes one with God and is capable of the same thing. I hope that answers your question. Thank you.
We had another question.
Yes.
Thank you. On this, and thank you for addressing this, it's a daily question for me. Why is it that we need to be embodied and do evil things? If we're so perfect and good, why can't we just stay
Well, we're
perfect
not.
and good?
We're not perfect. That's
Even
the
on
whole
the other
point.
side?
Yeah. Here's what you need to know, first of all.
What was the
We
question?
all, in past lives, have raped, plundered, murdered. We've all, in other lifetimes, done things. This isn't the only life we've led. Things come from those experiences. It's like the stone in the water that has the ripple. There's a ripple effect. Why, you say, do we come back and these things continue to happen? It's a $1 million question. I'd love to have, when I get there, I'm going to ask if I can get to the boardroom and have a few questions answered myself. But the truth is, what I understand is that we are all here and things come from every single choice we make, every single thought we have, every single thing we say and feel. There's a domino effect. Now, someone who does something very evil, I don't know why that is allowed, and I don't know why it happens. I only know there's a reason for it, and we are not grand enough to understand it, but God is. And that's where, honey, my faith comes in, because I have a hard time with it, as I'm saying you do. And I can tell you from my own personal view that I give it to God. I say, Lord, you know what? I really don't get this. I'm really angry about it. I'm upset about it. But you must have some reason that I don't understand. So I'm just going to rely on my faith because I've got a lot of faith. And I'm just going to hopefully let my faith get me out of this bad mood today because I'm upset about that. That's how I try to work around it. And one thing I want to say to you. I said to you earlier, I'm just a normal person. I'm just an average girl from Jersey. I love to remind people, I know that I'm not God. I hear dead folks, but I'm not God. And I have a limited understanding, but the little bit that I have, I'm so grateful for. Because I just do feel so much better in my everyday life with the little bit that I have. And I'm constantly trying to add to it. You know? Yeah.
Okay, there was a lady here, and then I'll get around. We don't have time for a lot more questions,
Okay.
but we'll do what we can.
Sure. Well, I'm coming back, so we'll pick some more questions up if you want to hang around. I'm sorry.
Hi,
Yeah.
so you've said a couple times that you've had experiences ever since you were young.
Yes, ma'am.
And I'm wondering if for people like myself who have not had experiences ever since I was young, forever, how likely is it that can happen with practice?
Okay, that's a good question. I like that. Well, first and foremost, my love, you must realize that what?
Microphone.
Oh, I think it was a bad
Okay. So what you want to realize, first of all, honey, that her question, this lady's question was, she's never had experiences of the other side. And she wants to know how likely is it that she ever will, and is that what you said?
Yes.
Okay.
Practice.
With practice, but here's what you want to remember is that, first of all, I want you to know that you are experiencing them, you just don't remember. And this could happen to you when you're sleeping, because when you go to sleep, your conscious mind rests and your subconscious mind comes up. And when your conscious mind rests, your subconscious subconscious mind is always aware of everything that's going around all the way around you, right? Now, your conscious mind is right here. But when you go to sleep, your conscious mind goes resting, and your subconscious mind comes up and is aware of everything. Now, I'm sure that people in your family, your life, your nucleus are communicating to you when you're in that subconscious state. You might wake up, and this part of your subconscious mind goes so down for whatever reasons, and you're not remembering. Now, a lot of people there's many reasons that could happen. Some folks are just afraid. They're just afraid, they don't want to remember, they don't want to see it, they don't want to know. I have a younger brother, and he always says to me, I wish I could hear my brother Harold, who passed away, I wish I could hear him, I wish I could see him and hear him like you do. And I always say to him, I've said to him for all these years, be careful, honey, what you wish for. Because if you ever did see him and hear him, it might be unsettling for you. So he said, oh yeah, I guess you're right, because I know my younger brother, he scares easy. But if it just started happening to him now, because he's 49 years old, it would be, at 49 years old, a whole new thing, and he would be very frightened by it. But anyway, the point is, this is what I told him, I'm going to tell you the same thing, because you said to me, how can I do this? My younger brother, and I'm talking to you, let's say this. I said to him, do yourself a favor. When you go to bed at night, say to Harold, come and see me, I would like to remember. Come and talk to me, I would like to remember. Tell them what you want. Tell them what you want. Always remember, add, in the name of God, hear my prayer. Because I said to you, all of our relatives are one with the Spirit of God. So what you tell them what you want, you say, in the name of God, hear my prayer. So I told this to my younger brother, and I said, oh, and by the way, put a pad and a pen by your bed. Why? I said, just do it, because if you see or hear from him, and it's a dream, whatever it is to you, force yourself to get up and write it down. Because you know how many times you'll be through the night talking to somebody who's dead, some dead guy, and you wake up the next day and you're like, I don't know, I feel like there was somebody, or somebody you recognize. Maybe I feel like my mother was here, or I heard something, but I don't remember. Because your mind rested your subconscious, and your conscious mind woke up and you don't remember what happened. So I said, I know this for a fact, so I said to my brother, keep a pen and paper there, force yourself to get up and write it down. Okay, so I fast forward. So one day, my brother calls me up at work. And he says to me, you're not going to believe this. I said, oh, try me. I've heard that many times in my life. He said to me, well, last night, Harold came to me. I said, wow, what happened? He said, well, I did what you told me. I got up, and it was so hard because I was so tired, but I got up and I wrote it all down. And he has the pad to this day. And my brother came to him, and he said to him, my brother had just gone through a horrible divorce. He swore off getting married ever again. He said, I'll never get married again, right? And he said to me, and he always wanted to marry an Italian girl. Who knows why? What's the attraction? Who knows? Not that there's anything wrong with Italian women. But I said to him, okay, whatever you want. So he married this Italian girl and thought he was going to be like Mama Lucia, and she was going to have pasta made every night for him, and, you know, who knows what he thought. Anyway, it was a complete opposite. He went almost cuckoo out of his mind. He left in the middle of the night with the clothes on his back. That's how he escaped from this Italian girl. And there's nothing wrong with Italian girls, by the way. I'm half Italian. So, here's what happened. He told me that my brother came to him and told him he was going to be married again. Oh, first he told me this, though. He told me, I can't remember them all, wait a minute. He said I was going to live here, I was going to have this job, and I was going to get married again, and I was going to have a daughter. Because he didn't have any kids. So he wrote this all down, and I think there was one more thing, but I don't remember. All I know is he said to me, and you know, I think he's right about the job, because I'm gonna go. He wanted to be a health inspector, and he was going to school to do that. He goes, I don't know if I'm gonna be successful, but I really, you know, that's what I want to do. And I think he might be right about this move, because I'm thinking about move, and blah, 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 but I don't think I'm gonna get married again, and I don't want any kids. And I went, okay, all right, well, you wrote it all down, let's see what he says. I go, how did it end? He said, well, he came back, because we were outside of he was living in an apartment at the time. He goes, we were outside of the apartment, and we were floating around, flying around. He said, and he brought me back to my apartment, and he stood by, my brother had a dresser in his bedroom, and he goes, and he was standing by the dresser in my bedroom, and I was, next thing I know, I was laying in bed, and I said to him, don't leave me, I want to come with you. And he said, no, you can't come with me. You have these things to do. And then he told him all the things again. And he said, you have to be here for your daughter. She's going to need you. And then my brother said, okay, but when can I see you again? And my brother said to him, not for a long time, but I'll always be here. So next thing you know, my brother wakes up and he's like completely in a state of panic, and he's writing all this stuff down. And as time went by, he said to me, I think I dreamt it. You think it was a dream? I know everybody does that, right? Fast forward. Brother got the new job, health inspector, thank you. He moved, thank you. He got married to a Chinese girl. Now he's got a little girl, by the way, named after me. Her name is Concetta. Bobby Concetta, actually, my brother's name is Bobby. So all of these things came through. So I have to tell you, I'm not guaranteeing you anything. I'm simply telling you that my brother came to my brother in a way that he could accept him, where he wouldn't be scared, like really frightened. So I say to you, there must be something that you don't realize that might be blocking it. And it has to do sometimes with fear, maybe not, maybe it's something else. You have a right, though, and the ability within yourself to say, whoever it is you're looking for, come visit me. I'd like to see a sign from you. I'd like to know you're all right. In the name of God, hear my prayer. That's all. And we'll watch it happen. And if you don't trust me on that one, then do this one. Because this is what I tell everybody. Remember one thing, they are listening, they are here, and they can help you. So tell them what you want. Now, my brother Harold, this poor kid, I have him on 24-hour call. And now my mother and father joined him, so they're my official God squad. But I can tell you that my brother Harold, whenever I lost a piece of paper, or I can't find something, my husband's always losing something. And that's a whole nother story, my husband. We've been together for a long time, and he has seen things that, you know. But anyway, the point is, they answer prayers. I will say, I'll give you an example. I don't know, 6 months ago, we were invited to go to Europe, and my husband had the passports. I always have custody of them, but we came home from some trip, and he went, I'm gonna hold them. And I was like, all right, fine, makes you feel good, you hold them. So we get this offer, and we had to have our passports. He could not find our passports. He had them. I always knew where they were. Okay, I don't want to get mad at him, but he had just cleaned his closet and must have donated 6 huge garbage bags of whatever. And I'm thinking, holy shit, the passports were in there, right? So I was like, oh my God, I wanted to kill him. Oh, don't worry about it, I'm sure they're in there, I'm gonna tear my closet apart. He tore the closet apart. Nothing, right? So then he said to me, because I'm now stewing, because I'm like, oh my God, we have to go to Morristown, we have to apply for this, it's gonna take 6 weeks, I don't know what's gonna happen. So he says, I'm gonna come home tomorrow night from work, and I promise I'm gonna look one more time, I'm gonna go through the closet again. Right? So the next day he's at work, I go in his closet. God is my judge. May he strike me dead if I am lying to you. And I stood there and I said, Harold, honey, please. I don't know where this mama will put these things. I have no idea, but I need them. And I need your help. And I need it now. Please, can you show me where the passports are? I would really appreciate it. In the name of God, hear my prayer. God's my judge. 4 minutes later, not even, I hear him. He says, look up. Now there's a top shelf, okay, in my husband's closet. There's a baseball cap up there. He goes, look there. Now I can't even reach because it's a top shelf. So I go get the little step ladder, I come back, put the step ladder out, climb up, pick up the hat. Underneath the hat, 2 passports. God's my judge. And you're wondering to yourself, what's the point of putting passports under a Yankee cap? Don't do that. Be happy. Make the best of it. What I do, I call him up. Hello, sweetheart. Don't worry about taking the closet apart. Harold gave me back the passport. And then my husband said, that's great. I said, what do you got to say about that? Are you impressed? He goes, well, to be honest with you, why don't you go back outside with him and tell him to tell you where the $1 million is buried. Again, what I would like to do, since you heard a whole bunch of my story in the beginning, is take a few questions, and maybe Concetta would take some questions, and if anybody would like to ask anything. Yes, sir.
So my question is, given what's going on in the world today, we seem to be becoming more and more divisive, more separated. Have any of your spirit guides or the dead people given you any clue why this has started or what it's about, or because it's very obvious that it's happening, but what's behind it, or what's the purpose?
That's such a hard question for me because I have my own personal feelings too, and to keep them separate in the answer is so hard. So I will say that although I hear dead people, I'm not really a journalist on them telling me why this is going on and what's in front of us. I can only tell you my personal feeling, which I will not say. I'll try to keep that short in saying that there's a reason for everything, and everything that's going on has a domino effect. And things have also, since the beginning of time, have been brought on by things like this that change things. So I really believe that there's a lot of change in the future that's coming up, and whatever those changes are a direct result of whatever's going on now, without getting too political. Because I've got my own feelings about the whole thing. But anyway, other questions? Yes.
I have a question.
Yes.
You know, I'm not sure what your strength is as far as when you're doing readings for people.
Okay.
Like, for example, I'm here with my friend Anne, who would love to hear from her son who passed away. Can you ever, you know, meet with someone and I know you can't pick and choose who you talk with, but can you see that person and can they relay a message to bring peace and, you know?
Can they? Well, I've been public for 17 years and that's what I do. So yes, the answer is yes. What is it you're asking me? I'm not quite sure.
Well, okay, well, I'm talking to my friend Anne here, who has lost her son. She would like nothing more than just to have some kind of confirmation that he's
So what you're asking me to do, if I'm not mistaken, is to listen for her son and tell her something. Right?
Well,
That was-
that would be wonderful if you could do
But
that.
if that's not what you're saying, then I don't know.
Yeah, that would be
That's
great.
what I'm saying.
I would love that for my
Yeah, well, I'm
friend
gonna
Anne.
do that, but just let me just take a few questions, and I appreciate your kindness to your friend in the hopes that you might be able to give her comfort. That's a very beautiful and humble thing. So let me just give me 1 minute, ask a few questions, and I'll get over there, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, dear. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
If our souls are reincarnated, what is the time frame, or when
Oh,
is
that's
it?
a good question. Everybody wants to know that too. And you know what's really amazing about that is because every time I think I've cracked the code, I get another situation that tells me I'm wrong. So here's what I believe. That is something, it's up to God. I don't know. I think that there are certain souls that do come back almost immediately. And then I think there are other souls that can take 100 years to come back. The amazing thing, and this is one that makes me feel comfort, is to know that anyone we've ever loved and lost, we are with again. That's the promise of God. Now, you might say, well, what if they come back right away? The point is, yes, right? But here's the thing. We are never away from the people we've loved and lost. And they are never away from us. So in just knowing that, you would know that even if we were to come back, the other side would know exactly where we were, who we were, and what was going on, and be involved in our lives on this side. But again, this is really something that entertains me, because I am amazed at that myself. You know, I have a brother who passed away in 1991. And I have always thought, what if he is reincarnated? Because he's like one of my biggest distractions. And he helps me with so many things. And it's not that I'm not wishing him not to come back.
Right.
You know, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that I what if, wonder, you know, but I'm still hearing him. I know where he is. And I've asked him a million questions. But I think the circumstances are between each one of us and God on the other side, however way that works. You know what I'm saying? I don't know that I can be sure that we would all take a long time to come back, but I do know that we are all with the people we love. I hope that helps in some way.
Well, there's no overriding rule.
Not in my opinion, not that I know of, baby, and you know, I'll tell you the truth, but I've asked that, you know, like, because I've had a friend who said to me, I know my granddaughter is my mother. I've had people say this to me, that is definitely my mother, and then I say to them, I hear your mother, so that's not your mother. So how could this be? I'll tell you how that could be. She knows your mother. She knows your mother, number one. Number two, she's from your gene pool. So if she has the same expression on her face, you could probably go back 100 years to other relatives, and they might look like your mother, because we have gene pools. So this is a very, you know, for me, it's a very interesting subject to talk about as well. Yeah, yes, wait, I have a lady over here. What's your name, honey? Okay.
Oh.
What's your,
Oh,
yes,
okay,
who are you?
go ahead. Oh, I have a question. If someone wasn't nice to you in this life, like a family member,
Yeah.
and you pass
Oh,
over,
wow.
are they nice to you there?
Oh my God, you have no idea how close to home that is for me. You know, it's interesting because if you've read any of my books, I openly state, and I'm sorry, I apologize up front. My mother-in-law, God bless her, is still alive. She's 95, and she's doing very well. She works 3 days a week, and she lives on her own, and very, very, very capable of taking care of herself. She can't stand me. She doesn't like me. That's a horrible way to put it, but she does not like me. She never did from the moment I walked into the house. It's a whole long, complicated story, but to make it short, Personally, I think it has a lot to do with a lot of different factors, but one is the fact that I think the relationship she has with her son, she saw me as a threat. I really don't know. I mean, in terms of all the details, except to tell you that it's very sad. Very sad indeed, and it breaks my heart. And I wish it wasn't the way it is, especially being the spiritual woman that I am. Now, I've never yelled at her. I've never, ever said anything ugly to her. I never threw her out of my house. I never did anything like that. I have sister-in-laws who've done all that. She doesn't along with it, go figure. But me, I've never done any of that. But I did one thing. In my first book, I called her a rock in my underwear. So that, now she finally has something that she can say. In fact, I've been told she has it highlighted, it's in her kitchen, anybody who comes in, she pulls it out. But the truth is, she's been a rock in my underwear. Oh, okay, and I also called her a pickle puss. But I didn't know it was going to become a New York Times bestseller. I didn't know it was going to be 13 languages around the world that we're going to hear that. But the truth is, it's very sad, and that's my biggest fear, that when I get there, picture it. All right, here it is, picture it. Here's God. Okay, you two. Want to come forward? All right, sit down. Now, what was the problem between the two? Really? You didn't like her? Why? What about her? Oh, you didn't like her either? Okay, here's what I'm going to suggest. You're both going back. Only this time, you're going to be sisters. But it's like I said, you know, I understand what your question is, and it is a fear of mine, because I worry about that, because I don't want to do that. I mean, I will be honest, if she called me up tonight and said to me, come over, I want to talk to you, I'd be there in 5 minutes. And the first thing I would say to her, and I've said, I would say, if I ever hurt you, I'm really sorry, and I just want to get along with you, and I really hope we can move forward. That all comes spilling out of me. None of that would come out of her. Why? I don't know. Who knows?
You took her son.
I took her son.
That's the bummer.
But he had a first wife, you know, which is so funny. And after they got divorced, she liked her. Okay? Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, I'm trying to get all these energies and dimensions straight, and it never really occurred to me that a person could only, that a soul could only be one place. I mean, so if they're there, they can't be here.
No, that's not true. If they're there, they are here.
But I mean, you're saying they said that their mother had been, they saw signs of their mother reincarnated.
Yes.
They were told, no, because she's still there. So it could not be she's still there and also reincarnated.
Oh, okay. Yes. No. I mean, I agree with you. In other words, if the mother, of the soul of a mother is on that side of the veil, she's not reincarnated. No.
Okay.
No, she can't be in a human form here while she's on that side.
Okay.
But what you might want to know, and this might help you, is the fact that the energy of this mother on the other side of the veil is still very much taking part on this side of the veil. So she's very much still involved in everyone she's ever loved. She does not leave, she doesn't give it up, she doesn't forget, she doesn't say, okay, I'm done with you all now, I'm over here. She's still very actively involved on this side, the same way God is.
And I'm sorry, in the same respect, has the future had any effect yet?
The future of what here?
I mean, you talk about the past of the souls. What about the future? Is the future and the past separate?
Wow, I wish I was Carl Sagan at this moment. That's a good question. I believe the answer to that question, and it's going to confuse you even more, yes, it's all one and the same. But I'm not Carl Sagan, but I still get the possibility of that. So it's a very good question you have, actually. And the answer to me, if I were to say I don't know, I don't know for sure. But I would say to you, I think it's connected. I think it's all part of one amazing energy that's going on.
Well, isn't that how you, isn't that how you can see into the future? Because when you read people, you sometimes see into the future, right?
Well, let me say this to you, darling. First of all, when a person is a psychic who claims they are able to get premonitions, see things for the future, forecast, that person claims to be a psychic, they only get psychic predictions. A medium, which is I claim what I
I hear dead people who tell me predictions. So that means a medium would be a psychic and a medium. And I hate sounding like I'm patting myself on the back, but it just has worked that way for me in my work. Because I'm a very humble person, and I would never brag about what I do, what I hear, what I've said, whatever. The point is I'm just capable at certain times to see things and know things that have even amazed me. That I've even sat back and gone, whoo. My daughter just said to me, we were sitting down in the church, and she was commenting about when I was talking before, very, very sweetly and very kindly, and saying nice things. And I said to her, you know what, honey? I said, it's amazing for me because when I'm doing that, I feel almost like there's somebody else doing it. Like, mommy is here, and that girl is Concetta Bertoldi. Like, it's really odd, you know, because it's hard to explain. But I do feel like there's two things going on here, and I'm just proud of whoever she is over there doing that. Well, now I sound like a psychotic. But the truth is, I'm very proud of my work, and I'm very proud if I can make any kind of a difference in a positive way. Yes, ma'am?
Isn't the comment, you're so loving and giving and generous in reciprocity. You're familiar with Dr. Weiss's work?
Oh, yes, of course.
Can you repeat the question?
She wants to know if I am familiar with Ryan Weiss.
Yeah.
He's a very wonderful man who wrote a very famous book called Many Lives, Many Masters.
So in the situation with your mother-in-law, that's
Yes,
the
ma'am.
dynamic. It's not that you necessarily took her
Her
son
son.
in this life, but maybe in the past life, the love of her life married you instead of her.
Anything's possible. You are absolutely correct. Anything is possible, and I don't, doubt anything that is a possibility. I only know right now, and I feel bad about it. My husband, I feel so sorry for him. He doesn't talk to his mother. Nobody should not talk to their mother. But here's the other thing. I also don't want to put myself in a negative energy. I don't want to put myself around somebody who is obviously have, horns for me. I'd rather just leave it alone. Thank you very much. So it's sad. Yes, ma'am.
I also have a brother that passed away in '91 also.
I love your hat.
Huh?
I love your hat.
Oh, thank you. And, it was a kind of a sudden situation. He was really sick for 2 weeks and he died. And I was very connected to him before he died and afterwards.
Right.
For like a couple years. And then it lightened up, and obviously it's been 25 years now.
A lot of people say that to me, and I've heard that, and I'll tell you why I think it's that way. Okay, first, what this lady just said to me is that her brother unfortunately passed away. And she felt that within the first 5 years or so, she had really great communication with him. And it was wonderful for her. But then all of a sudden, as the years progressed, it started to diminish. And she started to feel like she wasn't getting as quick or as alert or even as deep signs from him or communication from him as she did in the first beginning. Am I correct? Did I say that well?
Yes, but this is the thing. I've often thought, did he reincarnate?
Okay.
Because there's nothing now.
Okay, no, I'm going to tell you.
Okay.
He did not reincarnate. Absolutely did not. He's still with you and very much a part of you. I'm going to show you how. First of all, just tell me your first and last name.
Marcy Miller,
Marcy. What's your brother's name?
Carol.
Okay, so let me just say one thing to you, okay? Okay, show her. He's trying to show me something that you might know and recognize. Okay. First, he's tried very hard, he's saying, to still show you signs. And the signs he's been showing has been through music. Music is something he really loved, and there were many songs that he knows you would identify with him. He says he's played them for you, and you've sat there and it's made you think of him. He's saying, tell you, he's played them for you, so you know he's right there. He also said that you have a photograph of him that he knows you love, and it's a small photo in a small frame, and it's one of your favorites. It's not real big. I would say it's about that big. Okay, do you know why he would show me these memories? The memories of a bike. Where was there, first of all, did he die when he was in his 20s?
No, 40.
Okay, 20, it means something. There's a 20-something. So I don't know if that's a birth date or the day he died, I'm not quite sure, but it's 20-something.
And, he died on September 21st.
See, he's showing it to me.
Okay.
But he's showing a whole bunch of stuff very, very rapidly. So I know it's not incarnate. All right, and he's talking about when you were very young. And he's trying to show me these images of childhood where he showed me a bike he had that he used to love to ride as a bike.
Motorcycle?
I don't know if it's a motorcycle or if it's a bike, but it could be a motorcycle. It certainly would be one of the both, or both, because he's talking about how he loved it, and the wheels, and he's trying to talk. your grandmother was with him. He's got a grandmother who he adored. This grandmother he was very close to, the two of you loved, it was somebody you both knew, and he says, I'm standing next to my grandmother. So he's right there. But you're assuming that he's not communicating with you anymore is a mistake, and I'll tell you why. First and foremost, they're very careful how they communicate and what signs they show. And the reason for that is we're very close to the other side of the veil. We could give up the flesh very, very easily. It's very easy to die. We choose to stay, even under some of the most unpleasant circumstances. Now, proof in point. Look at Anna Nicole Smith. There's a girl who was dabbling in drugs for very many years, right? Her son dies, now she dies of a drug overdose. It's not that she was doing anything different when he died in terms of drugs. She was probably doing the same darn thing for many, many years. We pretty much all might be able to guess that. But when he died, she said, I'm done. I want to be with Anna. She's done. So what I'm saying is, they're very careful because they know we're here, we were sent here, we chose to come here to do a job. And we have it involved with God. So they don't want to interfere with that. So they're going to be very careful how much they show or interact or the signs. They're always going to be there, but they're going to be simple. Because they know how easy it is for you or I to say, you know what, it's not going so well here, I think I'm just going to go with that. It's real easy.
Well, I actually have a mother that's 92 that I'm, you know, I feel like she's getting ready to transition. I don't know when, I mean, she's healthy, but there's been a lot of frustration with her, and I kind of can, he had that frustration with her when he was alive. And so lately I've just been feeling kind of guilty because at times I get so frustrated with her, which is very difficult.
I understand.
And she's doing the same things that she did with him to me now. And so there is.
It's a challenge.
It is, and there's a lot of guilt that I feel.
I'm sure there is.
You know, because I know that she could be gone in a month or a year, and I don't want to feel any kind of guilt. So I try my best to be kind to her,
So
but
hard, I know.
sometimes she just pushes me to
You
limit.
are talking to the choir, because I'll tell you right now, that's sad, I'm bringing her up again, my mother-in-law. You know, she's really a hard person to be around, and I have a brother-in-law who is just constantly doing for her and always with her, and she's 94, and he's lived for years with the same thing. I don't know how long she's gonna be here. I don't know how much time we have. Well, I think she's gonna live to be 120. But the point is, she's the same kind of personality, same kind of thing, you know, never satisfied, never happy, never enough, that kind of thing. So I give him a lot of credit because he endures a lot of it out of guilt, out of frustration, out of feeling bad. And I feel sorry for people that have to live their life that way. And I'm certainly not going to tell anybody what to do and how you should handle it. You know what I mean? But I do
Lately
empathize.
I've been more aware of, like, you know, I'm almost putting my life on hold for her.
I get it.
And, you know.
I get it.
And
And there's nobody else, it's just you.
Yeah,
You
it
can't go
would be
anywhere. I know.
wonderful for me to communicate with somebody on the other side and get some good advice.
You're not going to. I'm sorry, I'm just being honest. Because whatever this thing is you're doing with her, this little dance you're doing with her, is all part of some karmic, life lesson, destiny, whatever it is. And I don't have the answer for it. I only know your brother is not gone from the other side, that he is there and very much well aware of what you're going through, and insist that I give you these little details, which isn't much, but to tell you that there was a grandmother that he totally adored, that was the opposite of your mother, that he totally adores, and so do you. That's what I got. But honey, my heart goes out to you. I feel bad for you because I know how hard that is. And I wish I could tell you what to say.
Yeah, thank you.
You're so welcome, darling. I just want to come to that lady up there because since I did that, I want to say, ma'am, just please for me, honey, say the reason I ask you to do this, just so you know, there might be somebody else here with your first name, so I always ask for this whenever I work in an event. Please say your first and last name.
Ann Ackerman.
Ann, you had a son that passed, Ann. First, I'm so sorry. What was your son's first name, dear?
Alexander.
Oh, wow, okay. So let me just say what he says, okay? All right, let me see where he is. All right. And did Alexander pass away around a holiday or a birthday? It was a very significant time, he's telling me.
It was August.
What was so significant with August?
Well, it was a month after his birthday.
Then that's what it is. But he's saying it was right around. Now, listen, you have other children, how many?
One biological, 5 step.
He's talking about the other kids. immediately tells me to send his love to everybody because they all talk about him but still think of him. Somebody either just got into or just got out of some school or something is very special about some school that's going on. What was that? Who is that?
My daughter Marie is in graduate school.
He's talking about her. He's telling you to tell her he went through the doors with her. He goes through the doors with her. He's very well aware you're all celebrating this. You have, okay, wait. Okay. There's things you have of his that he knows you've kept and you treasure. He also tells me that he has, how many brothers does he have? He's talking about a brother in particular. How many brothers?
3 stepbrothers, no biological.
Which is the one he was very close to? He was close to one of them.
Well, one of them.
One of them he's very close to.
Yeah.
And the one that he's talking about, he looks at like his brother, not step, brother. And tells me that that boy talks and thinks about him all the time and loves him. And he's very, very grateful because he remembers his memory and honors it in many ways. Would you say that were true?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, he said to tell you this. You have now got something going on with either your knee or this part of your body. And he's telling you it's all going to be all right, that it's not needing surgery. Tell my mother because you've been worried about it. Would you say that was true? And here is the problem, right here in the knee. Because he said it has something to do like arthritis, but it bothers you. You walk and you go like this. And he's saying, tell my mother she's going to be fine because it's on your mind. Does that make sense?
It makes sense, yeah.
He also said something about Florida. Who's in Florida? Are you going to Florida? What's up with Florida?
We lived there for many years. We used to visit him many times a year. And
Said mention Florida to you.
yeah,
Said you would.
I actually, we had a Florida pass on the car, and last night I ripped it off because I don't want to go back to Florida because you know, it's
Poor baby, I
too
understand.
tender.
I understand, sweetheart. He's mentioned it to me and telling me to mention it to you, but I am saying this to you. You are going back to Florida. Because he said, go, Mom, and be well. He wants you to have a good time. Because he's with you everywhere you go, whether it's here, there, or anywhere. But more importantly, all he wants me to do is say thank you to you, because you were so good to him. You gave him everything he ever wanted. This is a young man who was treated very well by you, and tells me, my mother gave me everything. And he's saying to say, with all my gratitude. And whatever's happened to him, he tells me happened very quickly. So when he passed away, he's showing it like it was very, very quickly. So I don't believe he was sick. I think something hit him or took him very, very quickly. He wasn't like laying around for a long, long time. He was very, very, would you say that was true?
It was his time.
You know what I mean then? Okay.
We knew it would happen.
Yes, he's saying it. And but he wants it said, he's not alone. He's with a lot of people that love him, and many he never met on earth that were relatives that love him. And he was wanting you to know they're all with him. You're so welcome, darling. You're so welcome. Yes, sir.
Okay, I have a statement and a question. The first is that in the beginning, we're all strangers, and then we develop relationships, whether they're negative or positive.
Right.
And so when we have relatives, these are people that we've spent many lifetimes with, because they're negative or positive.
Yes.
And that's why we have developed these love relationships or negative relationships when we're less somebody.
Right.
Yeah. Okay, the other thing is, my common-law wife of 31 years passed away November 24th, and 6 months later her son, 32, passed away of a sexual aorta. Did he pass away because he missed his mother?
First of all, let me just say, sir, to you, I'm very sorry for your loss. Second of all, no, that was his time. He didn't leave because his mother passed away, although they are together and he's very happy. Also want to say to you, because the woman that you call common law loves you extremely and tells me with all my love, sweetheart. There was no difference. In her mind, you are her husband, and that is what she's saying to you. In fact, she referred to you as that. Now, she also shows me things that you have of hers that she says you hold very dear. It is a drawer that you open up, the drawer opens up, and there's all these doodads in there that belong to her. You have not gotten rid of them, you have not given them away. In fact, you stand at the drawer and you hold them in your hand. Please tell my husband, she refers to you, and says, I know you do this, and I stand right next to you while you're doing this, and you're holding them and saying, I love you. Say to my husband, I love you too, sweetheart. And they're very much at peace.
Her daughter was sitting behind me, finding Gina.
Where's Gina? Oh, up there. So you're the daughter, Well, all I can tell you is this, you're taking some things of hers that you have kept and that you are wearing, and she's saying with all my love. So they are pieces of jewelry, and she knows you wear them, and she says, please, with all my love, give it to my daughter. But you've taken some pieces. And she said that it is her who's been flickering the lights in your house. So there's lights that flicker, and she said it's not your imagination, and it is her. Yes, ma'am.
My husband passed away almost 5 years ago, and do you believe that your loved ones that have passed come back as a cardinal or a butterfly or an owl or whatever? Because I had a robin this past spring and
No, it's not funny.
summer that stayed with me
Very
for
true.
over 4 months,
Yeah.
and he sat on my little
Yeah.
ledge and looked in my room, and
Well,
I'm
let me
like,
just say, it's adorable that you said it, and here's what you need to know. It's true, but they're not the robin itself. They bring the robin to you.
okay.
So what you want to remember is that once they know they have your attention, once a dead person knows they have your attention and that you're thinking that, they go, good, this is not going to scare them, I'm going to go with it. And they keep it and they bring it back or they do it again. Because now you've accepted it. You've embraced it. You believe it.
He drove me nuts in the beginning.
Well, don't roll that window
And then he calmed down, and then the female had eggs right in a tree where I could look right at
Well, that's
the
very,
eggs.
it's
and-
very sweet, but I can tell you it wasn't your imagination, honey. I'm sure that that was intentional from the other side because they knew you were saying to the whole thing as it was going on, honey, I know that's you. And I know you're doing this. And if you say that, and I'm telling you, they will hear you. They hear us. They know what we're doing.
Could you do a quick reading or not?
No, yeah, what's your,
Oh,
say your first and
I'm
last name.
Sally Hicks, and my husband's Sally Hicks, and my husband was Terry.
Okay, so let me see what I got. Okay. Well, first of all, he's calling your name. Okay, here it is. What he's showing me is a multitude of images of a lifetime. One of them is his work. He loved his work. And the work is where he's showing me it looks almost, now, I'm not saying it's a warehouse, but it looks like there's offices, and he's at an office, and he's at a desk. And he loved being there, and he loved the people, and he worked there for a long, long time, and everybody loved him. He talks about children. How many children do you have?
2.
He talks about the kids right away. Also wants you to know he's happy with his mother. And that you would be happy to know that, he said. You have a piece of paper with his handwriting on it that you have him, he wrote something, and it's in his writing, and you've kept it.
Yeah.
And he said, he knows that you've kept it, he loves that you look at it,
Yeah.
because when you're looking at his handwriting, you just feel close to him. But he knows that's something that is one of the things that's dearest to you, I will say. Now, you're also going to be traveling, so I don't know where you're going, but he said, you're safe, go, have a good time, honey. But you are traveling, and where you're traveling to is not by plane.
Where?
I said it's not by plane, I think it's driving, and I think it's over state lines.
Oh my gosh.
Where are you going?
My son lives in Evansville, Indiana, and I drive there by myself for 6
Oh, that's what
hours
he said,
every
'cause I
time.
see you driving and it's over state lines. And he said, tell you, go, be well, I'm with you. I hope that helps you, honey. Good, 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 good. What's your name, baby?
Andrea Marshall,
Who are you looking for?
my stepson,
Okay, what was his name, honey?
John Marshall.
Okay. He's not the only John, there's more than one, actually might be 3. Who's all the Johns in your family?
There are 4 John
Yeah,
Marshalls.
that's what he said. Just saying it. John, that. You know what's really amazing about this young man? You may not have been blood related, but he adored you. And he adored you and you adored him. And he's saying it as if to say you were the mother, forgive me for saying this, but not that he did, I'm not sure, and I don't know his mother. But and I don't know you, but he's not saying his mother was a bad person. He's simply saying you were the mother I always wanted. You were the mother that I adored, like that kind of thing, you know, that he loves you that way. And that God gave him the grace of God to be in your life again, because he is immediately telling you you've known each other many lifetimes, not your imagination. And what you've seen of him is in dreams, because he knows you're dreaming about him. And you wake up and you say, I know John was here, I know he was talking to me. He said to tell you, yes I am, and I am talking to you. Did somebody keep a cell phone that belonged to him? Something about it looks like a technical, recall, technical device. And I feel like he's saying that they have this. And I don't know if it was a phone or what. It might even be a computer, I don't know. But he's definitely showing me that somebody has it, it was his. And do you have a dog?
Yes.
The dog sees him. And you know that, he said. dog is constantly looking past you and at them. Not just John, them. And he's telling me to tell you, the dog knows we're there, and you know the dog knows we're there. Oh, and he's saying the dog's name. It's 2 syllables. Boop, beep. What's your dog's name?
Oxanne.
Roxanne, something like that. 2 syllables. And he said, please tell you, I love you. To you. I love you. And don't worry, you worry too much. Yes, ma'am, what's your name? Thank you, I hope that helps you. What's your name, dear?
Darlene Ramos Davidson. And I like to hear from my mom and my dad and my brother.
Pick one, because I would be, what happens is, when I have too many souls talking, it's watered down like ice and Coca-Cola. So you want to pick one person and let them see what they say. Okay, say your first name again, is Ann?
Darlene.
Darlene, and your mom's first name is? Okay, so let me see where she goes. Okay, I got her. First of all, who had the 3 sisters?
Could you hold the mic?
Somebody? Oh, sorry. I'm sorry, is that good?
Yeah.
Yeah. They're sisters, your mother speaks that right away, but I don't know if they're hers, your father's, your sisters, I don't know. Who had sisters?
Maybe my dad.
Have how many?
Sisters, 2.
Okay, so that was the 3 sisters. Now, can you tell me who Barbara or Betty was? Barbara or Betty? And that person is standing next to your mother. You know who it is?
Yeah, Betty.
Okay, good. As long as you know who it is, I'm good.
Yeah.
So she said to tell you that's who's standing next to her, but she also has a lot of other folks that are kind of gathered around her. And there's another name besides your mother was Dorothy, you said?
Yeah.
There was another D. Is there a Diane? Or Deborah? Is it Deborah? Have any idea? She said there is, and that person's standing with her too. And whose birthday? Oh, no, was it birthday you said? Okay, what month are we in now? October. It's around this time of year. Something is very significant. It's a birthday, it's an anniversary.
My brother's wedding anniversary was October 13th.
That's what it is.
yesterday.
Right, yesterday, because she's saying, please say you've heard from me, and we said, but I wasn't sure if it was an anniversary. I actually wasn't sure if it was an anniversary of a crossing, anniversary, whatever, birthday, but she said it was right now. And she
Yeah.
said you would know. So send that love to her, that she remembers well. You see? And there's another name that sounds like Fred, or Frank, or with an F. You have any idea who that is?
Oh my gosh, her brother Florian.
That's it. Witness that Florian. That's it. They're all together, yep. And I don't know who it was in her family, but whoever, because they're showing me a multitude of images. And one of them was very meticulous. I know this is going to sound silly, but somebody was very meticulous about the lawn and always gardening.
My father.
He was always gardening, right, in the lawn, had a manicure, right? And he said you would recognize that.
Yeah.
I hope this helps you.
Oh, thank you.
You're so welcome.
And may I comment? I saw you yesterday last night.
Yeah?
I got
Oh, thank
2
you.
books.
Thank you.
And I was reading them and I couldn't put them down.
Thank
last
you.
night. So.
Thank you so much. I humbly thank you, dear. Thank you very, very much.
Thank you.
Okay, let's come up here. What's your name, dear?
My name is Barry Decker.
And who were you looking for, dear?
My 20-year-old son lost his lifelong best friend earlier this week.
Oh my God, I'm so
And
sorry.
he was an only child. And I so desperately want to give his parents some comfort
Okay.
and something for my son to.
For your son? Yeah. Well, let me ask you this, because it's jumping out at me. I would like to know, what was the cause? Was it drugs? Was it alcohol?
Don't know.
Okay.
We're doing
I'm
our
sorry to
best.
say, but I feel it was one of them. I'm just saying. Now, when you say you don't know, you must have some idea.
He died in his sleep.
Do you know if your son knew if he was dabbling in anything?
He was dabbling.
Okay, because that's what he's saying. And I hope you'll forgive me, because the reason he shows it to me is to take responsibility and to say to his family, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, it was my choice, I'm sorry. So my feeling is that whatever the results come back, you're going to find out what I'm talking about. But the truth is, he's very much taking responsibility, so his family understands they didn't do anything wrong, they were not responsible, and there was nothing more anybody could have done. And more importantly, to tell them he's at great peace and he's home. And he's very grateful to all of them, because everybody's running around now honoring him, thinking of what they can do to honor him. They're all trying to figure out some way of memorializing. And he's very aware of it, and he's telling you to know that he knows that. But to take the responsibility off anyone, there was nothing more anyone else could have done. You see, and he's saying it went too quick, it went too far, it went too fast. So he's sorry, but he's not being punished, he's being loved, and he's at great peace. And he talks about your son because he wants me to tell you this. Your son's a good boy. And he's a good boy, and he's in safe hands. And he's asking you to please tell him that, like to choose wisely. Apparently your son does choose wisely, so I feel comfortable saying that. But he also tells him, tell him I said, choose wisely, my friend. So I hope that helps you, sweetheart.
Thank you.
Thank you, and I'm sorry, so sorry for your loss. What is your name, ma'am?
Rosemary,
Who are you looking for, Rosemary?
my dad.
Okay, first, would I,
Yeah, Rosemary Armacida.
okay, can you
And
tell me?
Dominic.
I'm sorry?
Dominic?
Yeah, okay. I'm sorry, because I heard him right away, that's why I'm asking. So, here's what I got on him. First and foremost, there is another Rose. Who else is Rose?
His sister,
And she's passed as well?
a long time ago.
He's
yeah.
standing next to Rose. Immediately says, tell her I'm standing next to Rose. Your father is showing me a house that he said you would recognize. The house is kind of old. It almost looks like a very beautiful, almost like a historic looking house. I don't know where this was, but it was a long time ago, and he loved it. And it was a neighborhood that the houses were close together. And it almost seems like, not old where it's like dilapidated, I mean like it has history, it has charm, it has this sweetness. And he's talking about being there when he was a young man.
Well, he grew up in Brooklyn, but I was.
Oh, then that would be where it was.
Yeah.
Because he's showing me the houses close together, and the house had charm. But either way, he's talking about his early life and being in that young life, being happy. He shows me a uniform, so I'm not sure if he was in the Army or the Navy. Which one was it?
He's in the Navy.
He's showing me. I see the photograph of him in it. He shows me like some sort of a headshot or something. And he's very handsome. Loves telling me he's handsome.
That's my dad.
I'm sorry, what'd you say?
I said, that's my dad.
There you go. Because he has this sense of like I was very good looking, I had no complaints, I liked who I was and what I looked like. And he admits that he liked the ladies. He tells me I like the women, but he loved your mother. And he's telling you I love your mother. And to tell you that he's with people that are so many that passed away, that he's telling you they took him home. So when he passed away, there were many family members already there and telling me the homecoming was great, grand, and happy. But he's very proud of his family and you, I might add, and that you have a nice life, a long life, and he's saying to send the family his love. Tell them you've heard from me.
Okay.
I hope that helps you, dear.
Yes, thank you.
Good, I'm so glad, I'm so glad. What's your name, little girl?
Stephanie. Stephanie
Okay.
Fasley Mason.
Who are you looking for?
My friend of 28 years, Maria.
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm so sorry. Okay, let me find out, let me see. Who's Joe?
She's got a ton of Joes, it's my mom.
That's your mother?
Yeah, right here.
And there's a lot of Joes in your family? Well, she's standing with somebody named Joe. So whoever is she's standing with, she's telling you I'm standing with Joe. Might be your uncle, might be somebody, I don't know. All I know is that she said to tell you, do you remember this? And she's showing me images of the two of you by the water. I want to say you must have went by the ocean, I don't know if it's ocean, by me it would be ocean. But she shows you by the water. You spent a lot of time there as young kids. And you look 12 to me now, so I can't imagine this. But the fact is, she's saying it was a wonderful time. We had a wonderful time. And these memories and photos are from the water. Do you have now, God, of her some sort of jacket or something? She says the jacket you have that once belonged to her that you treasure. You might put your arm in it by thinking you're hugging her by doing that. And she said, no, I'm hugging you.
I have hers.
Fine, she knows that. But she also tells me she's sorry. So whatever she did and whatever happened in her life, she is also taking responsibility. She is also being very apologetic about it and asking to send that to the folks that you both know that she is sorry. So I'm sorry, honey. I think that whatever happened, she had a hand in it as well.
Yeah.
And is saying openly, I wish I could, I would, I should have. You know what I mean? But here's the good news. You're going to live a long life. You're going to be here a long time, babies, all kinds of stuff coming your way. And she said, I'll know it all, and I'll be a part of it. Thank you. Yes, sir. What's your name?
Hi, Steve Shapiro. Our son, Michael Shapiro, passed away 2 years ago. He's been sort of a family guide for us. I wonder what word he might have for us
Well, first,
today.
I'm so sorry for your loss, sir.
Thank you.
I definitely... Oh, he's right here. Okay. He passed away around, wait a minute.
July
I was just
15th.
going to say, July 15th is more than just July 15th. There's something else significant here. July 7th, that's why, it's around the 4th of July.
Yeah.
Because he said it was not, yeah, see, it's July 7th, which is like the 4th of July. He said it was a holiday.
Right.
Always a cutie pie, too. He's got a sense of humor, he's funny, and he is trading like little jokes, saying like he had a good time. And
He's a stand-up comic.
He's a stand-up. Did you hear that? That's pretty interesting. Did you get that?
It's amazing.
Because he's trading jokes with me. She just said he's a stand-up comic. That's wild.
What word does he have for us or advice?
Well, I'm trying to get a good joke out of him, but but he's adorable because I can tell his sense of humor is right on point, and he's joking around, and he's trying to show that to all of you. So a word is going to be hard for me to get for you, except to tell you he wants you to know that he's with people that you told him about that he never met when he was here. You told him about many family members that he never had the honor or pleasure to meet, and how he is thrilled to say he's so loved by these folks and that he is with them. Now, the interesting thing is he talks about your future events. He's talking about some stuff that's coming up.
Yep.
There are other family kids. I don't know how many children you have. How many children do you have?
One other, a daughter.
Okay. Yeah. Well, he talks about her. She is adorable. She is just a sweetheart, a delicious little doll. And he says, please tell her she's got a lot of things that are coming her way, and they are going to be what? Let's see. Okay. She earns them, she deserves them, and they are going to unfold. So there's many lovely gifts. That's what he said. We're sending her gifts.
Oh.
So gifts could come in the form of a lot of things. They could be babies. They could be a lot of things. All I know is he's saying, tell her, trust and believe. We're doing that.
Oh, yes.
I hope that helps you.
Very helpful.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. I just want to come back there, ma'am, because I'm always over here. Yes, ma'am. You look back like that. What's your name?
Carol.
Carol. Who are you looking for, Carol?
Tom Case.
Who is that, love?
My dad.
Carol, can I ask you, because the minute you open that window, I hope you forgive me. Who drank? Why do I smell alcohol?
Pardon me?
Who drank? Why do I smell alcohol? Who would want to
have a lot of people that drink.
Well, here's what he said. He made me smell it right away and tells me that you would recognize this. So I guess the folks he's with are identifying different people who had maybe too much alcohol. I don't know. All I know is he's being very protective of the children, you see? And he's saying, please tell them I said no drinking. So he's being very protective of the grandchildren in this family by saying, tell them Grandpa said no drinking. There is no question he's saying Tom and Tommy. So who's Tommy?
A son, or my brother-in-law.
Okay.
Tommy.
Is Tommy. Okay, so it might apply to Tommy, I don't know, but I hear him saying Tom, Tommy. Okay, and then there's John. Who's John?
John.
Yep. It's either John or Joe or James. It's a J, but I think it's John. He's with that person. So they're standing side by side.
Oh, his brother.
There you go. You know, it's so funny. I got to tell you something funny. One time I was doing an event, and there was a woman. She was in the front row, and I said to her, honey, I want to come to you. Can you tell me who John is? And she went, I don't know. I have no idea. And the woman next to her went like this and went, stupid, that's your son. Because you kind of go blank, you know? And I don't mind that people go blank, but sometimes when people don't recognize what I'm talking about, I feel a little embarrassed because then they go home and say, oh, now I know who that was. So please, everybody, just give it a little time to go home and do that. But I hear that name, so he's standing with his brother, John.
And they're telling me about the drinking.
Well, not you, because you're not a person. But they're saying to tell the kids that there are those on that side of the veil who made a mistake by making that choice. And they're being very protective of the children and the children that are coming. And they're saying, just send them our love and tell them the mistakes we made and to choose wisely and no drinking. You know? I hope that helps you, sweetie. Thank you. Sir, what's your name? Yeah.
My name's Jamie Haas.
Who are you looking for, Jamie?
My father died when I was 13.
I'm so sorry, Jamie.
I found a chess set in an attic when I was in college.
Yeah?
And then 5 years ago, I found a picture, and it looks like the same set that was belonged to him. I was curious how...
I'm sure, no, I know it is.
Curious.
The answer is yes. I'm hearing yes, 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 yes. But when I hear that, I'm also hearing other things. He's showing me other things. He went like this, 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 this. So there's other things you found it. And one of them he shows me has a face on it, like a watch face. What is that? Whose is that? You were 13. How would you still have that? I don't know. Did somebody give you a grandfather's watch, or do you have a father?
I had some old watches, yeah.
Then I think one of them is the grandfather's, because somebody is saying it's his. That your father's standing next to a gentleman who's saying, you have this, and it's a watch that belonged to a grandfather. Now, you are being told by your dad, you have been and are a wonderful father, sir. How many children do you have? He talks about your ability to love and be a great dad despite the fact that you lost him at 13. And he's extremely proud of that and telling you he's guided you all the way. He wants you to know, no, I've never left you. And that I've been with you every day. And that you've done an amazing job. You do have not a whole lot, but he shows me a few small photos of him. But they're not a lot. So apparently there's some pictures, but they're small, sir. He's showing me some small pictures. And he says he knows you treasure them. But the interesting thing is, he said you look like your mother. Really? Oh, sweet lady. Sweet lady. God bless you, my darling. He's saying, you look like my wife, my beautiful wife, your mother. And that's what he says about your mom. Because he loves her, and he loved her very much. But I see the resemblance. Wow, that's too cute. So I'm just guessing. Did you try to fool me by putting her down there? No worries. Wait, go ahead, dear.
I'm looking for, hoping to hear from my biological mother.
Okay, sir. Yes, that's fine. What is your first and last name, dear?
Mine?
Yes, sir.
Ellen Davis.
Oh, wow, honey. Right away. She comes through right away. You never met this woman. She tells me you never knew her, and she wants you to know there are circumstances you don't understand. And she asks you, it's a very sweet thing the way she's saying, please forgive me. I'm saying this to you, dear. There is no question she did not want to let you go. She never wanted to let you go. She was forced into it. And she's saying, I've never left you, please forgive me, but I never wanted to let you go. Although she does admit that you were raised by people that love you. And she's saying they loved you, and I'm grateful to them. And that's what she said. But she's very, very sweet. And there's a bunch of names I hear, and I'm not sure if this is her or not, but one of them is either Marion or Mary, I don't know, but there's an M. But this is somebody you're connected to, you might not even know. Just so you know, if you might find out in the future, who knows. All I know is that she is saying she is here, and she has never left you. And you do, I believe, now look more like your father, but she said when you were very young, you look like her. But anyway, she loves you, and she's saying, I love you.
Does he have any half-siblings around?
Yes. Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. Yes. Mm-hmm. I just want to go to the back. Sir, with the blue shirt, you? Stupid, that's my son.
Call me.
Go ahead, honey.
I guess my name is Joseph Petone, and I'm my grandmother.
Okay, your name is Joseph, you said?
Yes.
Okay. Who is Anne, first of all? Who's Anne? I don't know if I'm saying Anna, Angela, something like that. Do you have any idea who she is?
My friend Angela from New York.
Is she alive?
Yeah.
Oh, then that's not who it is. This person is passed. Can you tell me where the two-family house is that your grandmother is referring to? It's a two-family house, had some sort of front porch or something, and I believe that she either grew up there or were you brought up there?
No.
Then it has to be where she was. What was her first name?
Christine. Well, I got two. One
And who is Robert? Or Robert?
Oh, okay, it's my uncle, so that would be my mother's mother is Victoria, and Robert is her son.
Is her son. They're all trying to talk at the same time, so it's hard to explain.
Welcome to my house.
They're all talking at the same time, and they're very excited that they have this window and you've opened it up. I'm not quite sure who I have. I only know they're all trying to show me different kinds of memories, and they're all telling me different kinds of names. But what they're showing you is in your home to me, and that you have been given lots of signs and things that make you know for sure it's them. And you say it all the time, and you're embracing it, and they're very proud that you are. Because they're saying when you were a little boy, they tried to protect you, and they tried to very much shield you from things that they didn't understand. So they may not have walked around being very spiritual or saying, this is true and that's true. As a matter of fact, my hunch is they didn't at all. But they were very, very spiritual. They believed in God, big time. But they weren't so much thinking about that kind of thing. But you have opened the window, and now they're happy you have, because they're saying you're on the right path. Now, here's a photo they showed me of 4 people in it. There's 4 people, and it looks like it was a wedding of somebody's. But whoever it is, it's very close to you, and it's one of your favorites. But it's a picture of somebody getting married, and it's from a very long time ago, and they're standing here with you as well. And who is Al?
My friend Al.
Is he alive?
Yeah.
Did somebody pass away recently to Al that knows Al? When I say recent, I'm going to say in the last year, 12 months.
Yeah, the question I was gonna ask you, I'm sorry to get the reels this time.
It's okay, honey.
I had a really strong dream last night of my grandmother on my father's side,
Mhm.
and she was cleaning the house and everything, and my sister and I were there helping her, and she was preparing her house for something, and I don't understand what that means.
Well,
And
remember
she was
when...
happy for the first time. My grandmother was never happy.
Oh, wow.
So it's the first time in my life that, she's been dead 43 years, but
Right.
it's the first time I've ever seen a smile on her face.
Wow. Well, again, where she is, we do smile. We're happy on that side. Whatever she was not happy about on this side, on that side, she probably reconciled. And whatever it was, her behavior was, or her personality traits were that made her unhappy all the time, are reconciled. So you saw her on the other side where she is very happy. The fact that she was cleaning her house and that you saw the tail end of whatever it was probably wasn't what she was saying. The odds are she had a conversation with you in the beginning, and when you were starting to realize, I'm talking to my grandmother and oh my God, she's happy, you started to wake up. And your subconscious mind lowered, and your conscious mind came up, and that turned your conversation into a dream sequence. So although you were probably talking to her and having a wonderful, sweet conversation, when you woke up, right before you woke up, your conscious mind said, okay, and then you turned it into a dream. And that's what specialists will tell you we do. We make dreams up in our mind to flush out all our day's stress and whatever. But you probably were talking to her in your lower stage of subconscious.
Does she have peace?
Very much so. You said it yourself. She had a big smile on her face. You said it yourself. But you didn't answer me. You said Al was your friend, right?
I have a friend now, yeah.
And he's very close to you?
Yeah, fairly.
Okay, so here's what you need to know. Well, you're good friends. The fact is, somebody from Al's family is trying to use you, and they do that too. They'll use you as a messenger. You and Al must be very tight, and you must have good conversations and just somehow share certain things. And somebody here is trying to say to you, please tell Al you've heard from me.
Can I name?
I do, Al.
Al says hi to Al.
That's correct.
What's Father's Day?
That was his father's name?
I don't know. For sure.
Well, you don't know for sure, you're about to find out. But I can tell you, whoever it is Al, and using you to send love to Al. So you're going to find that out, honey.
Thank you.
Thank you, dear. Thank you. Yes, sir, with the glasses, what's your name? Yeah, you. No, you. Oh, okay.
For my mom.
Mommy. Okay, mommy.
My wife.
Mommy, or wife or mommy?
My wife.
Wife, okay. Okay, wife. What is your name, honey?
My name is Judith Isn't.
Okay, okay.
Yes, and I was wondering, I know we all have skills that we need to work on, and I was wondering if the skill that I'm trying to build, do I need to seek it or will it come naturally?
Will it come naturally? Do I need to seek it? How about a little of both, darling? Yeah, because whatever you're doing, and I don't know, and I don't claim to guess, except that I can tell you that both those things will make you good at it. Practice, exercise, becomes better skilled at something. What you need is belief. You need belief in yourself, that it's possible, and I can do this. And then incorporate those 3 things, or those 4 things, and put them together, and you'll see what happens. But start somewhere with belief in you. That's the start, in the power of your own inside soul and spirit. And then go from there. And don't ever say, I can't. That's not even in my vocabulary. I'll try, but I don't ever say I can't. You know what I mean, honey? So you just stick with it, because if it's something you really want, go for it. Yes, what's your name, dear?
Hi, I'm Carrie, and I'm here with my mother, and my father passed away 6 years ago.
Okay. Carrie, Mommy, what's your name?
Joyce.
Okay, and what was your husband's name?
Leroy.
Who was Ed?
Pardon?
Who was Ed?
His brother-in-law.
He's standing next to Ed. Tell my wife I'm standing right next to Ed. They were very close, he and Ed, and they liked each other, and they're friends. But he's also standing with his mother and father and yours, and he's telling you they're all together. But he also said thank you because you were the love of his life. You gave him everything, and he's giving you all the credit. He came home with the money, and then you told him where to spend it. Am I right or wrong?
Right.
Because he's saying to tell you it was all your judgment, it was all your wisdom that we created and built what we had. And he's giving you all the credit and all his gratitude. More importantly, all his love. I hope that helps you, sweetie. Good. In the back row, yes, one of you?
Tom Gautier.
Yeah.
And I'm
like to hear from my uncle, Sidney Fisher.
Okay, and your name is what, sir?
Tom?
Okay, so let me see what we got. Okay, first of all, he's got a sense of humor and he's funny. Did he have, well, he's showing me a scene. This must mean something, I don't know what. Were you, at the end of his life, was he always in front of the television, had a chair, and that's where he always sat, with the television right there, and there he is, and you came to visit him all the time?
Yes.
And you brought him things, and you were so conscious of what he needed, and he's saying that to you, like, you were my lifeline, so to speak. You were the one that worried about him and made sure he had what he needed. But that television was what was most important to him, because he sat in front of the television and did this. But that was good for him, because he was happy. But then you came and you talked to him, and you gave him your time of day, which to him, he's saying, was more valuable than any money, any valuable object, anything. And he's eternally grateful to you, because he said, you gave me your time. And he's saying, thank you. He wants to tell you that he's with his wife. What was his wife's name?
Jean.
Loves being with her. They're together. And here's what he shows me. There is a time in your life when you were a very young man, and he's showing me what looks like a very small kitchen, and there's all relatives in this kitchen. But they all used to go to this kitchen, and it was small. They all congregated there, and there's a lot of food and stuff on the table, but they had a wonderful time. And these are among his favorite memories that he said you would remember as a young man. Does that make sense to you, sir?
Yes.
Thank you, and I thank you very much. What is your name, sir? Yes, sir. Yes.
Rick.
Rick what?
It's Rick Rashman.
Who are you looking for, honey?
My deceased fiancée, Elizabeth.
Oh, I'm so sorry, so sorry. Okay, first, I'm asking her some questions. Sometimes I get them to answer, sometimes I don't, depending on what they're capable or want me to know, I should say. Okay, Elizabeth. They didn't call her Elizabeth. What did they call her? Liz? Liz. She just said Liz. Okay. She's very cute in this sense that she's telling you, I gotta get this right. When it was an occasion for you to have to buy her a gift, you know, like a birthday gift or whatever, she said, tell you that she knows you did the best you could. Because it wasn't always, if you picked it out, I'm not saying it was a toaster. I'm not saying it was a vacuum cleaner. I'm simply saying that you well thought it out and thought, well, she could use this. And she's teasing you about it, because that was a joke between the two of you. And she is very kind by saying to tell you, I enjoyed every minute of it. But she also said, thank you, because there were things you got her that she wanted that she told you and then you went and got them anyway. But she knows you remember these memories and they go through in your mind, and she loves that you think about it. And she loves telling you this. Where she is now, she's young and beautiful again. Liz was very sick at the end of her life. And she tells me about what was happening to her body.
If you ask about her art, she left a lot of her artwork for persons.
Oh, wow. No, you do what you want. Artwork is left on this side. I'm not saying she doesn't care. She simply leaves it in your hands. What she simply says is, and that's the same thing they tell me. Some people will go, are they mad I sold the house? Do they know we gave the business to so-and-so? They don't care. Material things mean nothing. What they care about is your happiness. And if you're happy, that makes her happy. But one more thing I want to show you, she just showed me. It looks to me like she's showing me a scarf or some handkerchiefs, or I don't know what the heck it is, but it's material. And she said to tell it to you, show it to you, because you would understand what it is, and you would like get a kick out of that.
Yes.
What does she mean by that?
That was her grandmother had a scarf.
What?
She used to love to have around.
Isn't that lovely? Okay, that's very intimate detail. Love that, that's what I look for. Thank you for sharing, sir, and I'm sorry for your loss. What's your name, baby? You?
Me?
Yeah?
Heather.
Who?
Heather.
Who are you looking for?
I need messages from my grandma.
Well, tell me her first name,
Charlotte.
and we'll call her. Excuse me. Okay. Let's see, Charlotte, where are you? Okay, here's Charlotte. Well, can you also tell me if you recognize the name? That sounds like Charlie or Chris. who that might be, who she would want to say the name of to you? And I don't know if they're dead or alive. Sometimes they talk about people dead or alive. So
I don't remember her dad's name.
well, maybe you'll find that out. It might be one of them. But either way, don't worry about it. She's talking very fast. Do you remember this? When you were a little girl, you were at her kitchen table quite often.
At a kitchen table, what?
With her quite often. Kitchen table.
Yeah.
She shows me a kitchen table. And it looks like one of those kitchen tables that I haven't seen in a long time. It looks like one of those, you know, ones from the 50s. You know, it has that kind of look to it, like this.
Yeah.
And I see you sitting there and you're a little kid, but she's sitting there and she loved your attention.
Yeah.
And she said she fed you all the time. Have this, get this. She was good to you with food.
Yeah.
And telling me that she wanted you to have this. But the kitchen table's small, you're in there, and that your mother was good to her because your mother let you go there often. I'm looking out a window, I see a clothesline. Where was this place?
There wasn't a clothesline.
Well, let me show it to you. It's a kitchen. I'm looking out the kitchen window. So there's a window in the kitchen, and as it opens up, I'm seeing a clothesline. If this is not her home, I would like you to ask your mother where this place is that she's trying to show me. And also, there's a detached garage, because I'm looking outside and I see a detached something in the back garage. But your mother, I think, is going to know that. And she said that she is with twins, so there are twins with her.
Oh, okay.
Do you know who they are?
Maybe. She miscarried twins, but she doesn't know for sure.
Wow. Your mother was right. The souls of the children that did not stay are being told to tell you the twins are with her. Now, the fact that your mother has gone through her whole life just thinking, I think I had twins and I lost them, is something that is very special in just the fact alone that I know the history of that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So your mother will recognize it because it's something she has speculated all these years. The fact that your grandmother steps forward and says, tell my granddaughter, tell her mother, the twins are with me. That's pretty cool. So, in all fairness, we don't know, we can't prove it scientifically that your mother had that happen, but it is nice to know that your grandmother is saying something she would know. But here's the better news. You're in good health. You have a long life. And she is telling me that 2018 is a better year for you.
Is she giving location?
Location. I always say to my daughter, tell me what you want, what you really, really want. Here's what I know. 2018 is a good year for you, honey. I wouldn't worry about it. There's a lot of things that are going to be coming your way wherever you are, whatever location you're in. And she's telling me to do that to you. So whatever you've just come out of, because it looks like some sort of a tunnel or something, she's telling you it opens up, it gets better.
I'm still in it.
I know, but I'm telling you 2018 is still 2 months away, 3 months away. So just hang in there and believe it. Okay?
Yeah, thank you.
All right, yes. Yes, what's your name, honey?
Yes, Marisa. Marisa.
Okay,
Okay,
beautiful.
thank you. Beautiful jewelry.
Thank you. It was a gift from my husband.
Yeah, good
Thank
thing.
God it doesn't bite.
Okay, I'm looking at communication from David, and also I'm looking for my passport. If you can give me.
Look under the hat in your closet. I don't know, but I would highly suggest that when you go home, ask the souls of your loved ones to help you to find it. And find out and then start looking for it. But always remember to say, in the name of God, hear my prayer. Because remember that they are one with God, okay? But you said David, so I want to find out first, who is David?
My former husband, ex-husband.
Your ex-husband, and he's passed away. Okay, so let's see what he shows me. Oh, honey, I don't know if, okay, I'm not sure. I'm not saying he drowned, but I see all kinds of fluid in his lungs, fluid. What happened to him in his lungs that I'm seeing all this fluid in his lungs and his heart gave out?
It was pneumonia, lung.
Pneumonia, yeah. That's what he said, because I said, what happened to you, David? He obviously was young, you're young. And he shows me all fluid here and tells me this all got filled with fluid and my heart gave out. But he does tell me it was very quick, so I don't think he lingered for a long time. But he also said that he has children, so how many kids does he have?
No.
Oh, he's talking about the kids. Do you have children?
With him.
That's what I said.
But it's not with him.
But you
Mine.
have children.
Mine.
Well, he's talking about your children, honey. Because he's very much offering up that I'm a guardian of the children. I'm a guardian of the children. loves telling me that. One of your children, I don't know how many do you have? One of them is going out of the country, or somebody's going out of the country?
No, they are not here.
They are out of the country.
No, on the other side, you say, right? Children on the other side?
You have children on the other side?
Not in this side.
Not on this side. What children is he talking about that he's a guardian here for?
No.
Maybe a dog? No. I wish I could accept that, but no. He's talking about being a guardian of children. So my feeling is either he has siblings, you have siblings, but there's children in his family. And he loves telling me how God has given him the position of protector of children. So he's saying to you, I'm a protector of children. So whatever he did in this lifetime, whether he had them or not, doesn't matter. He's a guardian of children. So I want you to remember, in case you need that, in case anybody around you has a child who needs some help, tell him, David, to help the children. Because he will be able to help them. Very clear what he's saying, you know? But are you going out of the country? Or are you going someplace out of the country?
If I find my passport.
I forgot you said that. Because he's showing you going out of the country. You know what? I'm going to say you do find it. I hope you do, from our lips to God's ears. But also, he shows you out of the country. So you are flying somewhere, and he's telling me you're safe. You're absolutely safe. Darling, a sign he said to tell you, please remember. So this is something he wants you to remember. He will show you. Hopefully you'll see it and recognize it. It's the shape of a heart. It's the shape of a heart. Simple, but that's what he said. I will show you a heart. And he does that. And he's saying it to me like you are, even though you were divorced, he's saying, you're in my heart. You are my heart, like that. But here I see it. So there's going to be something where you're talking about him and a heart pops up. And you're going to know it wasn't a coincidence, it was from him. Just remember, okay?
Okay.
But I hope you find that passport.
All right.
I know that feeling. Been there, done that. Okay,
we have time for one more.
Okay, well, I've been so unfair to this side. So, ma'am, what's your name? Yeah. Oh, Kate, what name are you looking for?
My first husband committed suicide in July of 1999.
Sorry.
That's
Is that who you're looking for?
Yeah, Joel.
Okay. All right, let me tell you this. What is your first name? Kate? Katie. Oh, Katie. Okay, 1 second. Katie, did you know him in college?
Yes.
Because he said, remember college.
Yes.
We had a great time. He wants you to refocus on those memories because it was a wonderful time of life. You were so young, so ambitious, and a whole life ahead of you. He suffered definitely from some sort of bipolar, or it was something with depression. He suffered from something. His mood swings went up and they went down, and they got progressively worse. It wasn't, I want to say, it sounds terrible when I say this, it wasn't his fault. He suffered from this and they couldn't get it on correction, they couldn't get it on any medication that could help him. But he wants you to know that that's true because you know that. So he's just validating what you already know. He didn't just have an argument with somebody at work and then this happened. He was suffering for a long time. But he is no longer suffering. I'm telling you that where he is now, he's loved and that he loves God and there is no bipolar. You are on the threshold of, I say to you, in the new, like I said, there's a whole lot of stuff coming up in 2018 that are going to be happy for you. And being in love again. So saying to tell you, don't be afraid and enjoy it. You live to be an old woman, and he said, someday you'll see me, I'll take you home. But don't be in a hurry. You have a whole other part of life, half of life, big part to live. And assuring you that he is there rooting you on. And I'm so sorry for your loss, honey. I really am. There's a woman, though, that stands with him who calls out Margaret. Do you know who that was? Who Margaret was? Her name is Margaret. She's standing there among them. I don't know if it's from his side of the family or yours. But I want you to look into her and find out who she might have been. Because she's acting as if she's a guardian to him and to you. She said to say her name. So I have a feeling you might find out who she is. I'm sorry you don't know right now because I'd love everybody to know. But I have faith in this. Here's the good news. You have photographs from that period of time, too, and he knows you get a kick out of it because you reminisce through those photos. They're from college. And it was a wonderful time. Did he smoke cigarettes, by the way? Because I can smell the cigarette smoke. And he's saying to say that, put that in front of her, because he puts that in front of you as a sign. Sometimes you're someplace and you smell cigarettes and you go, oh, that reminds me of him. And it's not your imagination. And I'm so sorry for your loss, my dear. I say to all of you, thank you so very much.